You're up in the boardroom making a pitch. The fabric of reality has a glitch. An elevator opens and out comes a bloke with a formidable sickle and a long black cloak. He floats on in with a voice like a knife. He says, "Do you remember the purpose of your lifetime?" You don't like the look of his skull-like grin, but you want to be inclusive, so you invite him in. He says, "Thank you kindly, but I've too much to do." Then he raises his sickle and points it at you. He says, "I just dropped in to see if you're on track." And then in a Schwarzenegger voice he says, "I'll be back sometime. Sometime. Oh, time. Time, yeah. You're throwing a party, the guests have arrived. Everybody's having the time of their lives. A car rolls up and out comes the bloke with a formidable sickle and a long black cloak. He floats on in, hovers around and says, "Yeah, it's good to have some downtime." He joins you in a corner for a glass of wine. He says, "I can't stay, but keep this in mind. Remember what it is that you came here for." As the waves make toward that pebbled shore, he says, "One day you know you're gonna be mine. So make the best of your lifetime." Time. 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 Time, 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 time. Such a big part of our life, isn't it? Time, 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 time. I've been thinking a lot about time. Running out of time, you know, getting ready this morning for the school drop-off. Time, how's the time going? We've got enough time, 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 time. You know, do I have time to take on this commitment? Oh, would you like to do this, Brett? Yeah, let me think. Do I have time? And I've been thinking that really, I think a lot of the time, it's not actually about time. I think there's something else going on, but the mind goes to time. So I don't have enough time to do that. I'm running out of time. Well, plenty of time. But underneath that, I think there's other things going on, like, say, for example, fear. Like, oh, we're going to get to school on time. Yeah. So sometimes it feels like it's about time, but really it's about fear. And maybe it's about planning. It's like, oh, we're running out of time. Well, actually, no, the time is doing what it always does in the morning. But maybe there's some self-deception going on. Like, you know, we can get up at this time and yeah, we can chill out and have some breakfast, have a chat. And, oh yeah, we got time, until we don't have time. So maybe actually planning and time have this relationship. And if we just got things underway, just a couple of time chunks earlier, maybe something to experiment with. Forecasting. How much time do we think it'll take to do something? I've really been thinking a lot about that, you know, and the levels of delusion that I engage in about, oh, it'll take this much time. And then sure enough, it actually takes that time plus a third of that time again. And so I've really actually been enjoying doing a bit of conscious thinking around that and trying to be a bit more realistic with forecasting and allocating time, which brings me to the next thing, which is, of course, about expectation and commitment and boundaries. And that sits underneath all of it as well, because if I am saying, well, you know, I got this much time in the day, how do I allocate it? If I'm really thinking consciously about that, then I'm going to come face to face with creating boundaries. It's actually saying no to some things, saying yes to things, and being a bit more powerful and conscious about that, knowing that I can't always be perfect in my forecasting of time, but I can improve, I can get better. And then it's about choice, and that's it. I think really what I'm coming to see around time is its relationship with choice. There are choices to be made, and what matters? How do I use my time? And I'm getting older, so and that plays a lot into it lately. I feel more of a sense of, well, okay, time is valuable and precious, and what do I want to do with it, and what would that take? So you're up in the boardroom presenting your pitch, and in the fabric of reality there's a glitch. An elevator opens and out comes a bloke with a formidable sickle and a long black cloak. Yeah, a formidable sickle and a long black cloak. I guess, because I think sometimes the anxiety I feel about time running out is ultimately about something deeper. It's actually about, that fellow with the long black cloak and the sickle. And, as I sort of surface that and just give a bit of room for that, acknowledge that actually it's not really about the time in any given day. It's something bigger going on about my life. And maybe underneath that, the fear of a wasted life. And it's an uncomfortable thing to look at. But as I look at it, I've been playing with the idea of making that into a creative force, that sense of urgency. And that's why I wrote the song, to be playful with it. And, he floats in boldly with a voice like a knife and says, do you remember the purpose of your life? Time. It's a big question, isn't it? I do have a sense of my overarching purpose. I don't know if you have a sense. I know some people do. It can be an overwhelming question. But maybe there's more, what would you say, manageable time frames to consider purpose. What are we doing in our day and why? I was thinking about this and thinking about the relationship between hard work and kicking back and relaxing. That's why that second verse is you're throwing a party, all the guests have arrived, and everyone's having the time of their life. A car rolls up and out comes the bloke with a formidable sickle and a long black cloak. So he's a party crasher. Time is a party crasher. It's like, you want to kick back sometimes and just go, yeah. But I like in the song how I get time comes in and kind of sits down with a glass of wine. And so that was what I was reaching for as the song bubbled up, the idea of, rather than have that fella with the sickle and the black cloak, why don't I invite him in and have a bit of dialogue? And because associated with that for me is this sense of purpose and meaning, and there's this potential and there's so much possibility for life. And are you reaching for it? And are you stepping up to the plate? And I wanted to, and I like that he comes in the party and actually says, it's good to let your hair down. It's great. It is, and it's really important. And I think sometimes, if I'm not conscious of time, if I'm not really on purpose, focused on my purpose, I think in the background this anxiety gets bigger, and then I find it hard to relax. It's funny, and I kind of try to distract myself and watch Netflix or have an extra glass of wine, and that's all fine, but it's hard to really truly relax if I haven't actually paid attention to what's calling me. So yeah, I've been enjoying actually having a conscious and strong commitment to purpose and vision and what matters, and then going, okay, so part of getting there involves looking after myself. So that involves celebrating. And I'm very fortunate. I have some friends and we know how to have fun. And we have fun at home in our family too. And I'm just kind of mindful of, I think what it is the demarcation, getting the transitions. It's going, I'm working really hard and I'm focused on purpose. I'm stretching and I'm going the extra mile, but then just remembering not to take too much of that into the walk on the beach, or the play with my daughter, or, the date night with my wife. We just kind of go, actually, this is about the quality of this moment and the connection and the letting go of future and goals and all of that. So yeah, that's the song. He joins you in the corner for a glass of wine. He says, I can't stay, but keep this in mind. Remember what it is that you came here for, as the waves make toward that pebbled shore. Thank you, Shakespeare. It's from a Shakespearean sonnet. I stole that. 'Cause one day you're gonna be mine. So in the meantime, make the best of your lifetime. There's some songsmithery and delving for you. Feel free to share. Hit the like button, that helps the channel. And all the best to you on this adventure of your life and the things that you're pursuing, and the creative tension between the conscious, creative urgency to move forward on what matters, and on the other hand, the conscious surrender into the reality of the time we have and the pleasure that we can take in those little moments of replenishment. So see you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile.